We're great. We're ready to go.
Hi. Well, thanks everyone for making time this morning to join us for this Flat for Education session. So we have a couple of hours in front of us. So we thought with Mike and Shane to give you an in-depth overview of Flat for Education. So since we have different types of levels and teaching, we will separate into little workshops later on, but we will start with a broad overview of Flat for Education. So what the tool is, what you can do, and then we'll move into detailed overview of the notation editor side, then the assignment creation side, and then we'll get into different workshops and answer any questions you have. When you have questions at any moment, please don't hesitate, jump right in or write in the chat, but I think it's easier to just talk and ask your question. We're here to help. So and Shane and Mike know how to use Flat for Education quite well. So since you're all in a room together, if there's any way they can also help you hands-on, they will be happy to do so. So firstly, I will give you a very broad overview of Flat for Education in case you don't know what the tool is, and for those who just signed on for the first time today. So we are aiming to be a one-stop shop for music education. So what that means is that we're thriving to provide engaging and effective ways for you to teach music in your classroom. And we understand that one size fits all doesn't really work for music. You have different types of subjects and different types of learning methods, and we're trying to put it all together for you to create the best lessons you can. So Flat for Education provides a very powerful and yet adaptable notation editor. So that's the basis of our tool. And this notation editor can be tailored to the needs of your students, from beginners to advanced musicians. And whether you're leading a band, a choir, general music, orchestra, Flat for Education has the different tools to assist you in your teaching. So you will be able to create scores for your students, or your students can have access to this notation editor to themselves learn how to compose, transpose, fill in the blanks, and so on. So I will showcase the notation editor in detail later on. But Flat for Education goes beyond just the notation side. So we built an interactive assignment platform that allows you to create many different types of assignments. So you can create composition assignments where students write directly on the notation editor. You have performances where students are required to record themselves performing a score or singing or reading notes out loud. And you also have worksheets where it's aimed to solidify music theory, and where in a few clicks you generate these worksheets that are then automatically graded. So with these various assignment types, you can mix and match, create what works best for you and for your students and for your overall teaching. And Flat for Education was really built thanks to the collaboration and feedback of our teachers. So originally it started with just a notation editor, and then teachers have requested more and more features. So thanks to the collaboration with you, we're able to put this product together. So please, at any point, if you have suggestions on how to improve or specific notation features or assignment features you would need to make it more adaptable to your teaching, let me know. And this will help us improve the platform. We also integrate with Canvas. So I'm not sure if all of you use Canvas. Some do for sure. So we can spend some time discussing the integration with Canvas at one point, either as a smaller workshop, is if not everyone wants to discuss this, but it is also in the agenda for today if it's needed. So I prepared my Canvas demo account, so we can walk through that later as well. So that's it for the very broad introduction of Flat for Education. So in a second, I will start sharing my screen, and we will start with a walkthrough of the tool. So first things first, let's get you familiar with the tool. 1 second, I have to share the right window. Share screen, desktop 1. Sorry, I'm juggling 5 screens. It's always always a hassle to share the correct one. Okay. Can you all see the screen? I think so. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you. So first, this is the dashboard you see when you use Flat for Education. So for some of you, you will have classes here. Some of you, if it's your first time logging into Flat for Education, you will not have any classes here yet. But soon you will. So if I walk through the left-hand side of the Flat for Education interface, so the first window is the welcome screen. So this is, let me just move this here. So the welcome screen is a section that changes seasonally. So right now we have a spotlight on one of our latest features, the assignment sharing, but soon it will be the back to school. So this is a bit of a space where we put announcements and some latest feature spotlights. Then you have the classes. So here you have the overview of your active classes and also archived classes if you have archived classes. When you open a class, you have the first section that's a bit of a stream section where you can post things for your students. You have the assignment section where all of your different assignments are listed. The review section is where you see if when a student submitted an assignment and you have all of your pending reviews, they would be all listed here. The people is everyone inside of that specific class. And then you have the class settings. So it's where you can archive or delete a class. I'm showing that quickly just so you know how it looks inside of a class. But when you will be ready to create new classes, you will just click on this plus new class and most probably click on use Canvas. So this will link to your own Canvas account where it now for me displays the consumer key and shared secret. And once you inputted these information into Canvas, you will be able to select the different classes you want to directly import to Flat for Education. So all the rostering is done automatically. Later on, when we discuss Canvas in more detail, for those who want to discuss Canvas, I can go over some other assignment creation tips when you use Canvas. Going back to this interface, so below classes, you have the resource library. The resource library is basically your assignment database. So it's where you will create all your assignments. It's also where you will dispatch them to your classes once they're ready to be dispatched. You have different sections in the resource library. My assignments, it's the ones you create, and shared assignments are the ones other teachers within your district have created and shared with you. So I will go into detail later. We will have an entire hour on the resource library and the assignment creation. But basically, resource library is the database for your assignments. The tools is a section that works with the resource library. It's a way to customize the notation editor for some specific assignment types. So I will discuss that later with the different assignments, but it's important to know that it exists. The score library, this is, as the name suggests, your database for all the scores that you create. So here I have a long laundry list of scores, and this is where you would create a new score or import a score or even download one to export it to another tool you might be using. So this is everything that has to do with the notation. The sections below are people billing, admin dashboard, and school settings are only available for admins. So don't be surprised if you do not see these 4 sections. It's totally normal because most of you are teachers on the account. The integration section is where you can integrate with different tools like PowerPoint or Google Classroom, Canvas, and so on. If you use Soundtrap or Practice First, some other tools, you can also integrate them here. So it's just useful to know that this exists. And the last sections is the account settings. It's where you would change your email address if needed, manage the notifications, reset your password, or any of these account details. So that being said, let's dive into some more interesting things. I wanted to start with the notation editor. So since many of our assignment types are using the notation editor, I thought it would be a good way to start to show you how you can create a score, what type of scores you can create, some fun tools that we have that you might be interested in. So here you can, I was going to say play along with me, but it's not really playing. It's you can create scores with me. So do the same things as I do, just so you can get used to using the notation editor. And some features are best if you also click on the right buttons instead of just watching me do it. So to create a new score, you click on the new score or tab button on the top right. You put a title, so here I will just put false. And you can then select all the different instruments you have. So we have over 150 instruments. So you can either search by name. So if I search for piano, or if you search for bass, anything you want. So you can search for individual instruments, or you can also check the templates that we have. So if you look on the second tab here, we have some very basic templates, but they can help you save time in case you want to create scores with some of the instruments already. So for example, if I pick the string orchestra template, it automatically puts all these instruments. And I can then just click on create score. And it automatically created the score with all of these instruments. So to input notes, it's quite straightforward. What you need to do is hover over the score and click. I don't know if you can hear it, but whenever you input a note, it automatically plays back. So I just reduced my volume because it was full on. So you hover over the score and click to input a note. You can also use your keyboard. So if you click on B, it adds a B. If you click on C, it adds a C. So those are different ways you can input notes. And if you are also used to some keyboard shortcuts. So some of you might have used Sibelius for many years and are used to that, the shortcuts from this specific tool. You have the keyboard shortcuts on the top right. So the last button on the top right displays all of the shortcuts. And so these are our own shortcuts, but if you want to customize so it matches what you're used to, you can click on customize and then edit one of the shortcuts. So this is just for you to know it is possible to make this your own notation software. To add notes, you can also synchronize with MIDI. So I'm not sure if you use MIDI keyboards or other MIDI instruments, but if you click on this button on the top left next to new assignment, you can start the synchronization with your MIDI device. So it can be very useful if you have, for example, a keyboard, you play and it automatically transcribes onto Flat for Education. So this is very, very much used by so many teachers that I like to show it firsthand, so you know that you can use MIDI instruments. How the notation software works, so you know, every different tool has their own type of layout. So for us, we divided it into different sections on the top. So you have the note section, which has all the different features related to notes, then articulations that are all the other features like slurs and fingerings and so on, the ornaments, dynamics, measures, and text. So depending on the instruments you have selected, some of these features might not be here because, you know, they're also dependent on the instruments, or they might be blurred if they're not valid. But I invite you to explore all these different sections because this is what will allow you to, you know, create very more complex scores when needed. So for example, in the text section, you have a lyrics feature, and this is how you can input lyrics below. So here you can put lyrics. You have Roman numerals. You can also switch the voices. So this allows you to have, you know, two melodies into one staff, use second voice and first voice. So really, I invite you when you have some time, so maybe later during the workshop or once you will be creating your score, to look into these different sections to really understand how the notation software is structured. If you want to change instruments or delete an instrument and so on, sorry. So if you want to change the instruments, you click on this button on the top left. It opens the instrument settings. So you click on Manage Instruments, and this is where you have the instrument menu. You can edit an instrument. You can replace it or remove it. So let me delete one. With the violin, if I went to replace it with violin lead, done. You can really play with the instruments and replace them as needed. You can do the same with time signatures. You just click on it with, and same with the tempo. So everything on the score is clickable, so you can modify and adapt it to your needs like that. As I briefly mentioned, when you input a note, it automatically plays back the note. So this is very helpful for students to understand, you know, music notation better. They input a note, they hear it directly, and there's this sense of immediate gratification of, oh, this is what I composed, or this is how it sounds. So it's very helpful for student learning and music engagement. You can also change the playback. So you can change the speed of the playback. You can change the, how do you say, loudness of the instrument. So you can, for example, if you want to make the violin much lower or remove it entirely, the sound, to showcase something specific on a score, you can always adapt the sound by clicking on the audio playback. So on this button and the playback options. Let me pull up a score that has some more interesting things on it. So this is a score that I created earlier. And if I zoom in, you can see, for example, here I have the colored notes and the note names inside of the notes. So there's a way to automatically do that, and I will show you how. So if you click on the layout settings, so it's the button that is next to the printer on the top right, in between the printer and the zoom in. So you have the layout settings. And if you scroll down to note heads, you can from there click on boom markers. So that's the feature I use, the automatic boom markers. You can also have your own custom colors. So if you're trying to match a textbook, or if one of your students is colorblind, or I don't know, you need to have your own sets of colors, you can put your own colors as well. Let me just put the boom markers, and you can also, from that same menu, choose whether you want to have the note names displayed inside of the notes. You can choose between ABC, Do, Re, Mi, and also fixed Do or movable Do. So all these options are available in these layout settings. Once you're done, you click on Save, and it automatically adds your settings. If I go back to the layout settings, this is also where you can change how your score looks, how the spacing is on your staff, to make it larger, smaller, to personalize your margins, to also, you can hide instruments. So for example, you want to hide instruments that are not playing, or customize the names of the instruments and so on. Everything here will be done into the layout settings. You can also change the music font or the text style. So you can really play with the notation editor, so you can then have it exactly how you want it to look. The good thing then as well is that you can print it or export it. So any score that you create can be exported into many different formats, from PDFs to only the audio, to MIDI files, even an image, or we have a direct export to Soundtrap. I'm not sure if your district uses it, but in case we have a direct export. And with the printing, it's the same. So when you print, you can also decide to print the score entirely, or just some parts or some instruments. So depending on what you're trying to do, you can really be exported as exactly as you want to. You might have noticed this Kodai notation here. So here I have the Kodai hand signs. And to access it, so to add the Kodai hand signs, you would click on the instrument name So here I click on the cello and I scroll down to Kodai notation. If your instrument has, let me open something else. If your instrument has two staffs, it will not work. So I have, let me show you a score where it has two staffs. Sorry, should have prepared it wrong. That's gonna be, okay. So in this one, it will not work because it has two staffs. So the how the Kodai notation works is technically the hand signs will be displayed as the second staff. So if that's the case, you need to remove one of the staffs and then save it. And then you can use the Kodai notation. So if I go back to my initial example, I have the cello here, and the cello has only one staff. So I can add the Kodai notation. So if I click on cello, I click on Kodai notation, and here you have different settings. So from letter to hand sign. So let me do the letter now so you can see the difference. You save, done, and you have your Kodai notation. If now I want to change it again to the hand sign, I click on the instrument name, scroll down to Kodai notation, and put the hand sign, select my do type, and click on save, and I have my Kodai notation. Are you able to add the Kodai notation? If some of you are trying, is it working? Do you have any question on how to add this notation or the boom markers that I showed earlier?
Is there, if I change the key signature, will it automatically change all of, like, to the correct key? Like, will it transpose it? Or is that a different step?
No, it should change it. So if you click on the instrument name, so it opens the instrument settings, and you have a few other tools you can play with. So for example, if it's an instrument with tablatures, chord grids, you can click on this section, and this is where you would be able to set tabs, set chord grids, and then also you have many different options to personalize the settings for you. I'm just showing it here in case it might be interesting for some of you. So when you create, wait, what did I want to say? I forgot my chain of thoughts. Oh, I wanted to show something else. So for some of you that are working with younger students, I don't know if you are working with recorders. So some of you might be working with recorders. So I will show you a feature we launched recently. It is the recorder fingering. So there's a way to automatically add fingerings for some instruments. For now, it's only for trumpets and recorders. We're hoping to have clarinet soon and some other instruments. So if this is a feature that interests you for some other instruments, let me know so I can push for having it developed sooner rather than later. But if you click on the instrument name, you will have the recorder fingering option available. And here you can automatically have the recorder fingerings added to the score. So it's not the right range of notes, but if I add notes, you can automatically have the fingerings associated with it. So this is a useful feature for teachers with younger students. So again, I'm not sure if you use recorders or if having the automatic fingering would be useful for your other instruments. So depending on what you teach, it might be useful. So do you think having those automatic fingerings would be useful for your band and orchestra classes? And if so, what would be the main instruments that this could be used for in your case scenario?
Where was that was that for all instruments?
So for now, we only have trumpet and recorder.
Okay,
And so that's why I'm asking, we want to deploy it to all instruments, but we have a very long list of to-dos, and I've been asked to prioritize the instruments that we want to develop this for. So I have a lot of requests for clarinet for now, but I was just trying to see if in your case, which instruments this could be used for.
Instinct guitar tabs could be nice. Put directly into music. So guitar fingering notation.
We already have for guitar. I believe we already have for guitar. Let me check. So for guitar, we have the tablatures that are automatically added as well. So I believe this would work. Is this what you mean?
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean. Thank you. There we go.
So for guitar, it exists. So okay, so I misspoke. So we have it for guitar, recorder, and trumpet. And we're trying to create it for clarinet soon as well. So in case you have requests to have the automatic fingerings for some other instruments, let me know later on so I can prioritize this into our development. But
And
yes, if
any of the beginning band instruments, clarinet,
string
flute,
instruments.
saxophone, baritone, euphonium, tuba.
I tried it and it works on trombone as well. I noticed that. I tried to turn it on and there are also slide positions for trombone here.
oh, there's trombone.
Yeah.
Okay, so it might have been released last Friday. Good, that's very good to know.
And definitely the four-stringed instruments. I think.
Okay, let me just write it down.
Maybe they're
Mm-mm, I don't think so.
Mhm.
I don't think they're there yet. But yeah, it's helpful for us to know which one to prioritize because ideally we have them all right now, but it's a lot of back-end work to have them implemented. But yes, for guitars, if you're working with guitars, you can have these tablatures. So you can access it by, again, clicking on the instrument name, and then you have tablature, chord grids, and tuning. And this is where you can personalize your tabs. And also you if you click on the second to last icon on the top right, for example, if you're working with guitars, it would open this fretboard. So you can directly click on this and it adds the notes automatically. If you're working with another instrument, which, for example, the piano, it opens the piano keyboard. So for most instruments, it will open a piano keyboard, except for drums, where it opens a drum pad, and the guitar, where it opens a fretboard. So that those are also other ways you and your students can add notes.
Noemi, do you know if we import a song with a music file? Can we then tell it to put in the note names and the fingering, for example, or the solfege hand signs?
Definitely. You can import anything except for a PDF.
Right.
So PDF, we're working on it. It's not, we don't have it yet. But you can import a music XML file, a whatever, the MIDI file, WAV file. Mostly it's gonna be a music XML. And once you import it, you have access to everything. So you can add, change the colors of the notes. You can add notes, change the instrument, even transpose it. So you really can do anything you want. There's even an automatic transposition feature when you're in the note section, and then on the right side you have this transpose with the arrow, and when you click on it, you can choose your interval, the octave you want to go up and down, and it automatically transposes your song, your piece. So it can be very useful, especially a lot of choir teachers use this when I love this anecdote. So when you know, I forgot how it's called in English, but when the boys are changing, the voice is changing, you know, puberty. So the choir songs were not fitted anymore for the voice of those boys. So they would transpose it with this in 2 seconds to better fit the voice. I don't know why, I just love this anecdote, but you can obviously use the transposition tool for anything you want. But you can also, most importantly, block anything that's here to your students. So when you create assignments using the notation editor, you can remove, for example, if the assignment is to have your students transpose a melody, you can hide this transposition button so they cannot cheat. They have to transpose it themselves by adding the real notes instead of just clicking on the button. And it works for any feature. You can change how this notation editor looks for your students, so they can focus on what you ask them to do. But that I will show you a bit later when we work on the assignments. I will show you how to modify this notation editor. The last thing, not last, there's so much more I could show, but one thing that's important to know is that everything is auto-saved. So when you add notes, it's saved automatically. And when you click on this history on the top right, it opens the entire log of history. So you can see what notes were added when. So here right now, it's not very interesting because I just added these notes. But when you work with your students on assignments, you also have access to all of these logs. So you can see what they added when, if you suspect them to have just imported a file instead of composing, you will see it as well, because suddenly it will go from 2 notes to 500 notes. So this means they imported something and they didn't create it. And it's also a way where you can go back and restore 2 different versions, which can be very helpful if you want to go back to a previous version before the score got messed up, and restore it for your students. So you have always the autosave. And even when your students lose internet connection while composing, we still save their work. So there's the next time they will be online, it will, like a Google Doc, restore to the latest version. So the work is never deleted. So if a student comes to you saying, I worked on it, but I don't understand, it's not showing, it's most probably that they didn't. And if there are doubts, just let us know, and we can go back into the, the coding of the score and check if there was a bug with this particular score. But 99% of the cases, everything is auto-saved. So even if they lose internet, it should still be here.
You copy like, can you copy one whole measure into another line or like a whole line? How do we
Yes.
do that?
So you can copy. So if you want to copy this measure, you just hover over it, copy, and then let me put it here. You just copy paste. So I just use the keyboard with Control-C, Control-V, but you can also use this button here on the top right next to the scissors. So it's the copy, and then there's the paste. You also have cut. So you can copy an entire measure, a score, just a note, anything you want. And you also, in the same logic, when you hover over a score, you can click on the comment button. So this button here, you add a comment, and there is a comment on the score. So if you use it, if it's your own score, you use it for yourself, it can be a reminder, change the section. But if you're collaborating with students, or if your students can also leave comments for you saying, I need help, I don't understand, why does it sound so awful? And then you can answer the comment or resolve the comment. So this is also a way how Flat for Education is interactive inside of the scores and inside of the assignments. Yeah. Do you have any other questions on how to use a notation editor? Specific instruments or input methods, or just a few general tips?
When you're creating a new score and you can choose instruments or templates, can you create your own template if you use a specific voicing often? Or a specific group of instruments often?
Yes. Yes. Wait 1 second. I knew this. Wait, if I just have this one. I will have to get back to you on this one, because was it here? There is create your own custom instruments. We might not have it anymore. Wait. Let me just double check something. I'll get back to you on this one.
Okay,
Let me just write the question. We used to have it, that's for sure, but cannot see it anymore. So I don't know if it's a momentarily bug or if it was removed for some reason.
cool.
Sorry about that.
No worries.
So also in your score library, you can create folders. So folders are called collections. So you can create folders if you want to organize your scores into different folders. You can also share a score with another teacher. You would just need to type the teacher's name. You can also copy, delete, view, and download. So those are different things you can do from the score library. So if I go back here, so do you want to spend 5-10 minutes just playing around with the notation editor, and then we can move to the assignment types, or would you rather just directly move to the different assignment types?
This one's kind of play around. Yeah, let's do 5 or 10 minutes of play around time.
Perfect. I'll be here. If you have any questions, in the meantime, I'll investigate the templates.
Well,
Why is that?
Yes. Good morning. That's fine. Yeah, as long as like things are happening deeper in there. You're that, you're on this is awesome. Yeah. Wait. All it is, yeah.
Yeah.
It's literally-
Oh, to go. So like you've got a physical document.
Yeah.
You want that to go into here. There used to be a program, I don't know, I haven't done that forever. There used to be a program, I know that was part of news or maybe.
Yeah.
That we could go back.
I've seen that online too, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm thinking like festival music. Good. You know, them, because then you can share it out. Then you could easily say, I want that. I want that. You know, it takes me to know that.
Yeah.
Or I want to put in fingerings.
Or even like high school stuff, like I want to be state
Yeah,
versus, no, we're not like this first position, third to
right.
do this instead of avoid the shit.
Yeah.
And yeah. Yeah, just like playing around with this a little bit, like. Slow down something to eat, we're gonna make fun of blue and then the gay there, and we're gonna make just.
Right.
You know, like for those kids that struggle with which strengths that. There's lots of candy targets here. There's a couple things missing that I'm like, where is my thing? But-
Like, this, like, I made a reporters, I did.
Yeah.
2 months ago.
Okay.
But now. But you still can do that.
Yeah, you
No.
can choose,
Yeah.
yeah, so like, instead of making each individual note a different color, like the blue colors, you can say.
Well, it says, yeah, you customize what we were creating, for you as customization.
Well, and I looked briefly at a download of our new textbook. And there is some like, it's color in it that I remember, I don't know if it's on the note heads, or if it's just like, the pages are just black and white.
For a while.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, so, I think there'll be some things like thinking about mostly remediation. I don't say are working.
What were you gonna go something that?
I'm looking for the,
Because by the time.
I don't even know what it's called, it's the half step symbol,
So,
like,
but.
you know what I'm talking about, it's like the little V.
There.
And I'm looking under note, because, so like, in civilians, it would be like under system. Or staff, but I can find triplet symbol, I can find the tie. It's not an articulation, it's just like a, hey, touch your fingers together. It's not an ornament, and it's not dynamics. I thought about in the measure, but that's like bigger. I don't know if that half step symbol has an actual name. Let me see. Yeah. That thing that you put on here. Yeah, that would, I mean, that's helpful too. I didn't see that one either.
Noemi, we have a question. There is a symbol that would occur between two notes to indicate a half step or a whole step. One's the like
One's a V,
a V and the other's a
with the bracket.
bracket. Do you know if that is in there
So what do you need?
to indicate between two notes if it's a half step or a whole step? Either a V for a half step or a bracket for a whole step.
Let me check. Um, um,
By the way, when my computer went out earlier, there is an instrument called cat hands
Star Wars.
and Star Wars set, and I was like,
Cat Star Wars.
I was actually looking for elf. Just because it's really obscure and I have one. So.
Not an articulation.
Mm-mm.
I cannot
There
find.
is up and down, so that's nice.
I will check with our developer to see if it exists under a different name or something, but I don't think we have it at the moment.
Thank you.
Right, let me just check something else. Mm. Do you know how it's called? Is it like the
Yeah,
do
we
you know,
don't
yeah.
know the half step symbol and the whole step symbol. I don't know if it has another name.
I feel like that was something that was specific to the method over the years. I haven't seen it anywhere else.
Like. In any other,
I have only seen that notation at orchestra expressions.
okay.
I think I know what you mean in terms like the little V and the little,
Yeah,
yeah. Not that I found it, but at least I know what you're talking about. Let me. I don't think we have it, to be honest. So I will,
Like Google, it just says full step symbol, half step symbol.
yeah, I Googled it as well.
But some websites show them flipped. Like, is a whole step being
else.
Well, there's one here that. One example that is showing whole step and half step as being the same symbol, but they've got W and H written beneath it. Whereas. No. Yeah.
We ready to keep moving ahead to when we're ready whenever you are to move ahead to.
Yeah, just so I can place a proper request to our developer. This is used for mainly orchestra, or what type of music would this half step, whole step bracket be used for?
We've seen it primarily in orchestra.
Yeah.
Um, the more information I can give them, the quicker it can go into developing it. So that's why I'm asking the question. Okay. Perfect. So now we can go into the different assignment types. So we created, I showed you a bit how the notation editor works, how you can adapt it for your own needs. Of course, there are many different things you can do. So it can be just a quick note naming assignment. You can upload an entire score. You can have your students collaboratively work on composing the next orchestra piece. So you can get as creative as you want. And so that was the first section about the notation editor. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning, we have an entire section that's about creating assignments. And I briefly mentioned that you can create assignments using the notation editor or create worksheets. Before I dive into the different assignment types and how you can create them, I want to showcase the different sections of the resource library. So when you click on My Assignments in the resource library, you have all the assignments you've created in the past. So for those of you who log in to Flat for Education for the first time, there will be no assignment here. But for some of you, I think, have used it in the past. And for you, you will have your different assignments. I'll start slowly. So that's my assignment. So anything you will create will be in this section called My Assignments. Now, if you click on Shared Assignments, this is where your school has shared assignments with you. So you might have assignments in this section. If, let's say, Mike created assignments and shared them with you, they would be here. Any
Does
of you
have assignments there? We should all have some assignments there.
Yay. Here, any of you can decide to create an assignment and share it. So I will show you in a second how that works. But the assignments that are displayed in this shared assignment section, you can click on them and it will showcase the title, the different tags. So if it's a composition, the grade, what type of assignment it is, you have the instructions and the different tools if the creator added some tools. You can, if a score is linked, you can click on the score and it will open it on another tab and just click on the score. And if you want to preview the assignment, you can click on student preview. So if you click on this button, it always takes a couple of seconds to load. But what the student preview does is that it creates a temporary student account for you, and you can experience the assignment just like a student would. So here you can start the assignment and you see exactly what the other teacher created and how the student would experience it. So you have the instructions on the right side, you have comments if your student left comments, you have the score that's been added here. You might notice here that the notation editor, if I zoom in, there's barely anything. There are only the notes here. If I compare it to this, where you have all these different sections, here I only have the notes. This is because when creating this assignment, the teacher decided to remove all the notation tools so the students can only access this. So I will show you then later how to create that. So once you've previewed the assignment, you can leave the student preview. And if you want to add this assignment to your own library, you click on Add to My Assignments, and you add it. And now the assignment is also saved in your own library, which means that this assignment you can edit it, you can make it your own. So you can change the score that's attached to it, you can change the instructions, and so on. So any assignment that is shared, if you add it to your own library, you can then edit it as needed. But you don't have to, you can just use it as it is if you think it's correct, or if it's been created for you, you don't have to do anything else to use it.
If you do edit the assignment, does it change the original one as well, or just your copy?
No, just your copy.
Good, thanks.
So we made it that way so that there are no accidental edits. And also if one teacher leaves your school or your district, and the account is deleted, all the assignments associated to that teacher will be deleted as well. So that's something you should know. So in case you want to make sure that you always have access to this assignment, you can save it in your own library. So it will be safe here, and then make it your own. The last section is FFE assignments. So this is, it used to be called sample resources. What those are just pre-made assignments that were created by our team and some teachers who consulted for us. And those are just, some inspiration. They work exactly in the same way as the shared assignments. Just instead of being shared by your school, they're shared by other teachers. It is the starting point of more of a marketplace, and we use this to see what teachers look for and what type of assignments are interesting. But in the shared libraries, you can click on the different taggings. So here, if I click on orchestra, I see the different assignments tagged as orchestra. If I click on choir, I see the different assignments tagged as choir. So we do not have a search bar to search for assignments, but those filtering systems work a bit in the same way and help you stay organized, help you find assignments as needed. These are also available in your own library. So it's not displayed in the same format, but if you look on the top right, you have subjects. So you can filter by, let's do choir, and you have your assignments marked as choir. So if you don't have any assignments yet, you will not have anything in your section called My Assignments. But when you start creating your own assignments, you will be able to use these filterings as well. So you can filter by subject, by grade, and also by creation date or assignment type. So if I want to filter all my worksheets, I click on worksheets and I see every worksheet that I have created. So for those of you who had Flat for Education already, so is anyone in this room, did anyone use Flat for Education in the past 6 months, or are you all new to Flat for Education?
And a half. partial and partial. The middle school team has used it before.
Okay, I'm just asking because we made an update to the resource library. So for those of you who had flat for education before, I don't know, April or May, early May, the interface changed, of the resource library. And the tagging system did not exist before. So any assignment you created before April will not be tagged with composition or grades. So if you want to use the filtering system for your own assignments, you can click on the assignment name, on the assignment, edit, and in these two fields here, the assignment subject and grades, you can add a tagging. So let's do, I don't know, band and grade 8, and you save it. And this will allow you then to filter it by to use the filtering system. So I'm just letting you know, so for those of you who've had it before our latest update, you will need to manually edit your assignments you want to keep and you want to use in your database to be able to use the filtering system. But when you share assignments publicly, you have to input these if you haven't done so already. So let's say you want to share this, plays the right note on the piano. You hover, you click on share, and here you will have to add the grade, the subject, and you can add a description, which is not mandatory, and you share it, and now your assignment is publicly available to everyone at your school. So before I show you how to create your own assignments, do you have any questions on how to add an assignment or a collection to your own library? So just making sure you know how to use any assignment that was shared with you.
I will just add that the assignment, let's say, assignments have been built in for middle school. We did not build any in for elementary. So if you wanted to do an assignment with elementary, you could and so this is a tool available to you. And we'll talk about later how to integrate it into Canvas, which will allow you to roster it, make it really easy to get it to students. So the only required use, let's say, is for some of our middle school. So just know that like if you never have to do an assignment if you're not in those classes that we put it into the curriculum guide, but it's a tool that's available if you want to do something. Maybe you have a worksheet you typically use, you can recreate it, you can put it in flat and have students answer using flat, and they can access it via Canvas then, if you didn't want to use paper pencil. So just know that, elementary folks in the room, that this is the assignment part is required for some of our middle school, but it's not for elementary. So just as you're thinking ahead to next year, but there are definitely times as you look through the tool, you might think, hey, I really could do this project I've done in the past. I think the kids would like it because they could hear the notes or different types of things. So just to clarify.
Makes total sense. So I'll show you how to create the different assignment types and what they're all about. And maybe after you solve this, you will have more questions on how to use the assignments. So let me start with the worksheets. So when you're in my assignment sections, if you want to create a new assignment, you click on New Assignment on the top right, this green button. And from there, I think for this section, you can more watch me create the assignments, and then we'll have more of a workshop time where you can create your own assignments. Just, or as you want, you can actually make it as well at the same time. It's just whatever you prefer, actually. So if you click on new assignments, you have the menu that opens up, and I'm starting with the worksheets. As a reminder, worksheets are a bit of a multiple choice like questionnaire that you create for your students. You input a few settings, and then they're automatically graded when the students complete them. So you do save a lot of time into the grading. So here you put a name, so demo 1, very original name. I pick a subject, so let's do music theory, grade 5. They're saved into my resources. You can also have them saved into a specific folder if you already created folders. And the instructions is where you leave instructions for your students. Please complete this and that. You add instructions as needed. You can add links to coursework, links to other scores or files, and then you have extra settings. So the extra settings change based on one assignment type to the other. And for this particular assignment type, the setting is shuffle. So what it means, it is shuffles the questions into a different order. So if you use it for an exam, for example, it will avoid cheating. So all the students will have the same questions, just displayed in a randomized order, so they cannot look at each other's screen. That's everything it means. The grades are by default released immediately, which means it's automatically graded. But if you want to manually review the worksheets and grade them yourself, you can still do that. But I think 99% of usage is directly graded. And then you click on exercises. And from there, you can check the different categories and make your own worksheet. So we have questions on pitches, keys, intervals, chords, scales, rhythm, and music symbols. So if you want to do a easy pitch recognition question, you click on pitch recognition, and there you have a few extra settings. So you can choose your clef, you choose the keys you want to ask, and you can also choose if you want the notes to be on the lines, spaces, or both. You can even choose the range of the notes you want to be asked. Choose if it's fixed do, movable do, or a letter display, and then you put the number of questions you want. So here it generated 3 questions. Let's say you don't like this one, you just click on delete and it automatically removes the question. You can mix and match as many topics as you want. I don't think there's a limit on the number of questions, or if there is, it was never reached. So you can go ahead and put hundreds of questions. And let's say you want to do a rhythm beat identification, or beat counting. You can then choose your time signature, the durations you want to be asked, and then the counting system. So let me do Takadimi. I'm not sure if it's one you use, but it's just, I'm trying to showcase many different use cases. Again, you can add exercises as many as you want. You can make these worksheets very easy, so adaptable for elementary students. It can be an easy question of what note is it, and it's just ABC, just randomized order. You can have very basic rhythm questions, very basic chord or scale questions. So really, I encourage you to look into the different assignments and topics and see how you can personalize these to fit your students' needs. And once you're done with the assignment, you click on Done, and you have your worksheet. So if you click on each question, you will have, you know, the question and the answer. And then if you want to directly assign it to a class, you can click on Use in Class and assign it to one of your classes. But since you use Canvas, you will not use it like this, so I shouldn't show it to you like that. But if you want to edit an assignment, you click on Edit, and you can reopen the entire and make modifications. If you edit an assignment that's already published to a class, it will only change the version that's in your resource library. So it will not change the version that's already assigned to a class, just so you know. But this is how a worksheet looks. So let me open an assignment that I created just for you to see. For example, this naming pitches. Here I'm inside of a class and I have this worksheet that I assigned to this class. And you can see that the student completed it. And if you click on it, you can see exactly what they got right and what they got wrong. And this is also what the student would see. So when the student completes the assignment, and once it's submitted, they immediately see their answers. So they can see, okay, I got this right, this is wrong, what did I get wrong? And they can see what they wrote and the correct answer. So it's a good way to immediately learn from their mistakes. And on the side, you have the automatic grading, and you can leave comments for your students. So this is how a worksheet would look. And if, let's say, just let me just do a student preview real quick. I already completed this one. I have to take another one. Let's do this one. Start. So this is how a worksheet looks as a student. So here you click on, the student would just click on any of these answers and complete I'm doing it on purpose, and you turn in, it's mostly wrong. And just to show you, when it's right, they see it like this. When it's wrong, they see it like this. So they immediately know what they got right and what they got wrong. So this is about the worksheets. Do you have any questions on what can be created on the worksheets or how to create it? Do you want to play around with the worksheets now? I initially thought that after I showcase all assignment types, I leave you some time to create assignments, different type of assignments. But if you would rather play with it now, we can take a little break from me talking, or we move forward to the next assignment type.
You guys want to hear all three and then have time to pick? Let's just do all three. No, I mean, then we'll come back and play.
So no questions on the worksheets? No. Okay. The second assignment type I want to show is the performance. So the performance is about having your students perform a score. So again, you click on new assignment, you add a subject. Let's do choir. You save it to resources. And for the performance assignments, you need to upload a score that your students will be performing. So it is a score that you will have to create in your score library before that. So you add a score. You can also directly import here from from another software, or if you already have the file on your laptop, you can import it. But here, let me just, what can I do? I don't know what it is, but I will just try this one. I have imported my sunny day score. Here, you leave the instructions, read the notes out loud. That's an example. And you have some additional extra settings. So here, you can limit the amount of time the students can listen to the score. And you can also restrict the some playback sounds. But mostly, this is what it would look like. If I open the student preview, student preview always takes a second to load. It's normal. So you start the assignment. And this is the score they have to perform. So this is probably a score I used to showcase how you can add text in the past, but as a student, they would see the record button on the top. On the side, you have the instructions, and so they click on the record. It sets the metronome. And then you start recording. So here what did I say? They had to read the notes out loud. So the student starts recording and they have the sound wave. They can listen to whatever they recorded. I will not listen to my voice right now, but they can listen to it. They can record it again. And then you, once they're satisfied, they save the recording and turn in the assignment. So this is how it would work from a student perspective. If the student tells you help and leaves a comment on the assignment, then you have the comment here. And as a teacher, you can go and ask them what they need. I feel like I'm talking to myself, but exactly this is how the commenting on an assignment would work. Teachers get a notification when a student leaves a comment. So if I leave the student preview, I have my performance assignment here, and then this is now available in your library. The performance assignments are used a lot for instrumental practice. So for now, there are some limitations on the performance assignments. So there is no accompaniment while the student plays. So it's a bit limiting, but by November, we should have a new version of the performance assignments where you will be able to assign specific instruments to students and where you also be able to have some accompanying instruments, especially for choir practice. But at the moment, a lot of teachers use these to have the students practice some basic choir pieces or some basic instrumental practice. And for note reading and rhythm practice. So those are the main ways it is used at the moment. It can also be a great exercise for oral training. So they listen to a melody and they have to read the notes out loud in time and rhythm. So it is also used a lot in that way at the moment. So the next assignments I wanted to show you are the composition assignments. So these one are a bit more complex because you can do much more with them. So I chose to discuss it last. But composition assignments, as I briefly mentioned before, can be used for many different things. So You can ask your students to find the missing notes, to complete a melody, to add lyrics to a song, to listen to a video and compose something, to transpose, and so on. So here, if I add more composition, you again always add a subject and a grade. And you have three options. New score. The new score will require students to start from scratch. So they will have to select their instruments, the tempo, the time signature, anything you want. They will have to really create the score from scratch. The template means that you attach a template to the score, to the assignment. You add a template to the assignment, and the students will have to work on that specific score. So they will have to do whatever you ask them. And the shared writing is a template that you attach, but where multiple students can work together on the same assignment. This is a bit like a Google Doc. When you think about it, students can collaborate on it together. We are currently improving the shared writing because it's for now quite basic, but we're improving it so you can really see each student will have their own color and you see who wrote what, and we will make this managing shared writing a bit more intuitive. But the idea is Google Docs for composition. But next back to school, it will be better. So let's do a template for now. And if I open, I wanted to do, I think it's this one. No, I think it's this one. I link my assignment. You can link more than one score, but for here I will link only one. You leave instructions. Please add notes as indicated on the score. You will understand why. And in the extra settings, you have the ability to lock the template, which I will do to show you what it is. But basically, locking a template means that students cannot change what's already there when you assign it to them. So they can add to it, but they cannot mess with your initial score. So if you have some melodies, they cannot change the melodies. They can only add to it as you've instructed them. And you can also create your own tool sets. So remember earlier when I showed an assignment where there weren't any, there wasn't anything here. So compared to this, you can change the different tool sets. So here I will ask them to be able to only add notes. So I will create it for you just so notes only. So here I will ask them to add a notes, and I will also what do I want to do? Right, I'm trying to remember the assignment. If I need anything else, let me put note duration half and quarter, and I save it, and I have my tool set. So if I click on done, I will now show you how it looks. So starting the assignments, and so here I'm a student, and you can see a couple of things. So firstly, here, the notes that you already had are in blue. So these are the locked notes. So if I click on them, if I try to drag it, if I try to delete it, it doesn't work. So students cannot change anything that here is in blue. But I allowed them to add notes and add half notes or quarter notes. So here the students can add the notes. So basically, for this composition assignment, I have the instructions on here to compose using specific notes. And so they don't mess with the chords that are displayed on the bottom. They can only add notes to these sections here. So that's the mix of using the tool sets and using the template lock. So this is very useful, especially for younger students, in a way where you don't want them to mess around with what you've already created, and where you do not want to overwhelm them, and you can block these notations. So they can only have what's necessary. You can only, for example, allow them to add lyrics or use Roman numerals, or keep everything but just block transposition, as I mentioned earlier. So anything you want to do, you can modify it so that the editor really looks like you want it to look for your students for this particular assignment. And if you remember earlier, I showed you this tools section. This is where you have all of your tool sets. For now, this will change very soon, but for now, if you create a tool set in an assignment directly, it doesn't save in the library. It will soon, but to be safe, you can create all of your tool sets here, and then they will be accessible from the assignments directly. But it is exactly the same way to create a tool set. So if I go back to my composition assignment, I have selected the template one, but if you instead of that created a new score, let me open one from scratch. If you create a new score assignment, this is how it would look for your students. So they would have to create everything from scratch, and they don't have a template to play with. So here they would have to create their own, let's just random, to create their own score, select the instrument, and then start from scratch. I did not create the best example, but I think you get the idea, and they have to really start from scratch. So for middle school and elementary, you can, mix and match composition assignments with boomwhackers. You can create very easy template worksheets for your students to practice music theory. For more experienced students, you can create some sight reading assignments, or some note identification, or even finding the missing notes, or even just have all the instruments of the orchestra and compose something with your entire class. So this class for education does not limit the creativity of our teachers. So you can really play with it and create assignments that cater to your needs and to your students' level. So do you have any questions on the different assignment types and what you can do with it, or how to create some specific assignments? You might need to play around with it a bit to have questions. I totally understand that. It's just in case you have some questions right away. No?
Not at the moment.
So I think now would be a good time to create a few worksheets or a few composition assignments. I would suggest trying something with the tool sets. You can put together something about sight reading, or different ways to create worksheets. So let me know if you have some ideas, or if you have some topics you want to create an assignment for, and I can showcase some things I've done, or walk you through a specific way of creating an assignment type. For example, this assignment, this core that I just pulled up is a kind of a dictation assignment, year training assignment that I created. And so I have the two instruments, and this first line here, it plays the Swan Lake melody. And when you go onto the second line, it is the same. It repeats, it's the same melody. But here the students, there's some missing notes. So here they're replaced with a clap. So it just gives them the rhythm, and they have to input the right notes. The original piece does not have it's only with missing notes. It doesn't have here. They could easily cheat and understand what they need to input, but it was just a way to showcase that an assignment like this can be done. And here the logic would be that the students have to here input the right notes for every missing note where there is a star. So that's one example of a kind of ear training assignment, where they listen and input the correct notes. Yeah. Do you have any questions on different assignment types, and what can be done with flat for education?
No, it looks like we just need some time to try the 3 different ones out, and we'll see if we have questions as they do it.
Of course. Do you want to start creating a worksheet or a composition? Happy to assist in any of these.
How much time should we take?
As long as you need. The next topic I want to discuss is Canvas, so we can spend a long time on the assignments. I have my entire afternoon blocked for you, so it's really as long as you need.
So we'll take some time to play, make sure you take a break. Got a few snacks here, bathrooms out here. Noemi, I did send you an email about a teacher account. If
Oh.
you maybe have a chance to take a peek at that.
Okay, I will check that now.
Thank you. But I don't want to take the work. This. That one. That one's. That's me. That's what I did. The error and I had. There's one called milk duration. And which has another error next to it. And then you get. So that could, like, yeah, that's how. Yeah. Yeah, I did that to my kids are. Well, they will. That's the problem. They will. If you give them a 64th note, they will play with the 64th.
Okay. Well, we'll also.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
Next time.
I think, but we will for sure. Yes, no, no, we don't start too early.
Then she wants to what?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. So when she says it's a black people afternoon, that's like.
It's like.
You know,
Well, I think we're getting pretty low.
you know, once more.
York peppermint.
We all do it, sir.
Mike is a pro now.
Yes. In what area?
And sharing a side.
Yes. I should be able to say what I say.
But actually, that was like a really cool thing. I was saying, is there a way to share?
Yeah.
And it wasn't, they built it, I made it.
Yeah, like, and all of that's like. Integrated with Kansas thing, you have to access those assignments from Kansas or.
You go into flat through games or later that you can add it. I'm sure show you how to.
Yes.
Challenging part, yes. But you don't want to, you want to record again.
Creating everything again.
That's the whole canvas, like, yeah, linking it to, like, linking this to canvas. Yeah, do it once, and then.
Oh, with that secret code,
Yeah.
or whatever, I was like, I've never seen that before, I think I've been listed in that section of the tree.
Yeah.
See how this would be really nice also. Remote snow days if you ever have that, so we can actually have things that. And hopefully all of our kids can.
Oh, it's the data.
Assuming they have. Reliable.
I didn't know about that. What's the worksheets?
Oh, yeah. Well, and so,
I mean, not a worksheet. Make it notice.
yeah,
That's really cool.
that is
Okay.
very cool.
Yeah.
And I like that it will give you, I mean, you can have data because you can do a lot of that same thing on like music theory data,
Yeah.
but you can never collect the data
Right.
without going, okay, bring me your Chromebook, right there, physically, you know, write down everything. So that will be really handy for those kind of situations.
Yeah.
If I can interrupt or contribute to the conversation. With the worksheets, I might have not shown it properly as well, but when you complete a worksheet, let's open one. So since they're automatically graded, you have this analytics tab at the end of the worksheet. So here it's just me, myself, and I completing one worksheet. So the analytics are a bit biased, but in a whole class scenario, you would see, okay, this question, everyone got it right. These two questions on rhythm, no one got it right. Maybe they don't get it. Let's try another type of assignment. So, it's a way for you as a teacher to really understand how the class is performing. A lot of our teachers who use the worksheets use these analytics as a baseline for the next subject or the next quiz or the next lesson, because it really helps to get a bit of an insight on how the class is performing. And the worksheets, I have some teachers who told me they use the same worksheet, just put the shuffle, and they assign it once at the beginning of the session. 2 weeks later, they assign it again, and they see the progress the students have made. So since with your resource library, you can very easily take an assignment and then use it in class and reassign it. So you can just, for you, have that one assignment that you create on, let's have the topic, for example, the rhythm, and you assign it again a week later, 2 weeks later, and you see how the class is, evolving and performing on that topic. So that's also something that can very easily be done, since you have a database of assignments. I don't need to recreate everything every single time. So yeah.
Is it like your SLO, you could.
Yeah.
That's what I was
Do
exactly
your
just
pre-test
thinking
at the
about.
beginning and then kind of do it again a couple times. You can say, well,
And then you could share that within your orchestra Java-like group, and everyone could be, a handful of you could do the same SLO. And if you're doing something like this, create it as a group, give it at a particular interval.
At the elementary level, do students have access to that?
They
Or is it
can.
just us?
No, they can, so they would access it through Canvas.
Okay.
So it'll automatically roster the kids then through Canvas, but yeah, we have licenses for all teachers, all kids, K-12.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
This is kind of a simple question, but can you edit the name of your worksheet once? Like, I hit the edit button, I can't change the name.
Edit the name of your
Like-
worksheet.
Yeah,
Yep.
If you click on it, click edit,
right.
and here
Oh, gosh, sorry, I was clicking on the wrong thing. Thank you. I knew I was missing something.
no worries. It's a very good question though. So yeah, sorry I interrupted you, but
No.
I could hear you and I thought that I didn't mention it, and it would be a good thing for you to know that it is possible.
In that analytics section, is there an opportunity for you to identify, like, if you've assigned it 3 times and the same student takes it 3 times, can you see the data each time they've done it?
Not yet.
Not
That's
yet.
something we're working on, but we haven't implemented it yet just because of all the different LMSs schools are working with. So
Yeah.
this and Google Classroom Teams, they all have a different way of sending the grades back. So
Mhm.
that's already difficult enough to manage because, apparently it's not that easy. I don't understand how development works, but apparently it is not the easiest thing to manage. So we haven't yet, but we have a big project of providing more of this, student management, student information, like how individual students are performing, what they've completed, where they lack knowledge, and what they've succeeded in.
Mhm.
But in terms of priority, we will do that after we improve the collaborative assignments and the performances. So, and we also have plans to add a specific ear training worksheet. So I think those are a bit higher priority than the student management. Depends who you ask, but it was posted that way in our last company retreat. So we are first improving all the assignment types, adding a few more, and then competing against LMSs. So maybe now.
Yeah. 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 Okay.
How long have you guys been doing this?
This sort of middle school, middle school, sixth grade. This year. They're not super users yet, but they use, it. And the kids use it too.
So is everybody just wants to open? Or is this like older?
But. Middle school, middle school. Really like. I like that. I think that. Oh, it's your show life. I'm gonna write. That's like there. Four. Actually, you're put it in.
Yeah.
Project that. That's.
And it would be great.
Images from. Put their music into. This would be your. And if you live out in all five. This too, so. Probably as well as a teacher tool. Okay, and now you're on.
Yeah. So they even have.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a short movie composition remix of sections and stuff.
You have that. Yeah, I was thinking that you should.
And that should be updated.
It's like for your students and for your schools, and then you should be on. Saturday, so if you're still getting contract, not what schools you don't even are getting, should lead. Let me know.
That in the soundtrack, even closer to the same thing.
Because I haven't seen it switch to
It'd be easier
from your
sub
committee to your school.
in class, so to pull that over the soundtrack.
Like no one's came through around Sarah's.
I think
But
when I started working
like in that, we don't.
Yeah.
I get that a lot.
So I don't even want
But I
to.
think about that.
Yeah, and I've got most of them in the.
Yeah,
most of
so
the
you guys
versions
like
that
that.
they do.
You can even have seats.
Most of them are in.
Yeah.
Oh.
So whenever I introduce something. And then that's what I want.
Or you see like this particular one that I'm making is just D strings, D string.
I-
5 notes. I wonder if it's possible to take away everything that is not one of these choices, just because like looking at that, that's kind of overwhelming to have, 21 choices. And really, there's only 5.
You can take
Six, I guess. I can choose note names.
It takes like an hour or two maybe,
Yeah,
but
that's
it
what
really walks you through.
Like, yeah, I just think about like. I think once they're on here, I don't know how
So
to
that's-
change them.
Like,
Like, the ones that don't have a sharp. Yeah. Yeah,
So if you go to.
which, that's only when it's on that key signature. I wonder if I selected 2 key signatures by mistake. Let me see.
Yeah.
Okay, don't, that was, I do. want to
Yeah.
see.
You can actually go down.
Yeah,
further, but
yeah,
it's-
sure.
It's gonna make all of them legal.
Yeah.
But then when I choose the pitch display, I can choose lettered. But it would be nice to be able to say only display these as choices, which just because I used my SLA was no reading on the dictionary this year. And so
That's
I
the
did a
one.
lot of the
You can probably do it crash voice.
work like this on music theory. Eliminate.
So, yeah, this would be your one.
Those are concerned your board, right?
I did.
It's like you have to adjust that every time.
So, like,
What's the? And would you want to use
We
accidental?
did a crash course. so-
No.
That's a no.
Right,
Okay.
so then it adds it all at the bottom. Okay, so then I've got the key signature right, but then it's gonna show. Everything
No,
was
because
21.
The key signature makes it an F sharp.
Yeah, so it would be nice to be able to say only show D, E, F sharp, G, and A. I don't know if that's possible.
I'm in more of these. I'm not very. Two choir directors, 2 band. And then all of us are teaching, but it's multitude.
It is.
We never knew for sure.
I know. Changes every.
It's nice to be able to combine sex.
And I know
Been
you
like separate.
Yeah.
So I like this.
Stand free. Hurry up. I'm in Denver. Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I saw you all the time. I'm looking for Alkin. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
that's
okay.
why.
I recognize your face.
Well, we were talking about that. And where are you at?
I'm Aaron Carlin, I teach at the gallery. Aaron Carlin. Yeah, like that's like the story of everybody's life.
Yes.
It's perfect.
So did you take? some
Where
time
you
off
been
from teaching then? Is that?
Yeah, I put when my first was born, we had a lot of medical issues. We ended up moving out of state, so I stayed home. I haven't got a raise in the state, sure, so I stayed home. And moved back almost 3 years ago. And so my youngest is, his last year of high school here. I was just saying. It's all right.
Right.
That never happened.
Right.
Because that's, you know.
I love.
You mean you didn't like it?
I was fine, I was.
Yeah.
Middle school. level.
It is, they hear me. You didn't like it. I remember. No.
Yeah, and it was,
We did.
Yeah.
Okay,
But-
yes.
I'm a very involved.
So.
Yeah,
that
that's
was
your mom.
Oh.
For myself.
So if you go here, you might get better.
That, yeah.
I just don't want that.
So you'll have,
Like,
yeah, there'll be some stuff in there, sure, so you won't get classes until.
Almost.
Well, I didn't Demi will, she'll send out an email, they're actually running.
Yeah, I felt like
Oh.
four obligations, like that's.
Anyways.
And I love starting.
Where they need to be,
I love meetings.
as soon as that's.
And hearing them, much of the operate from them well. They're gonna pull high school.
Or stuff, but it'll be.
You know, and so like, I don't know. It is, and I think that's like, people don't think it is.
Probably need to know.
Okay, yeah.
You know, it's not like.
But what-
Yeah.
What are you guys like?
Your director, whatever you have to do.
Sure, you're.
Because, right, exactly, and so.
Yeah.
That's
So where are you gonna, cutting through the song?
So you guys.
I did,
So-
You should have.
Yeah, it'll be very different. Different vibes. I hadn't ever saw that before. I did have.
You're gonna teach. You're gonna teach.
Yeah.
This is your man.
Luckily, I have.
And I did give it a.
There and after, I'm trying to figure out if I can schedule a little bit, so I'll be there just because when I sub the.
So she'll be trying to.
Like, playing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm happy to drop all the curriculum. I'm sure you want me to be part of it.
It'll be nice if I'm not
Five stars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're the best for it.
Yeah, so that's where you'll be, like, you won't have.
Well, that's good.
Rules.
Where you
So,
going?
you know,
Okay, I still feel like. I know we're so many hours, I still get some places this year, but it's still like, I should be tracking that a lot of places.
Yeah, I've actually got all the.
You just wait till it's instrument distribution time, and then you have ready to try.
I did.
Yeah.
So I walked through, oh, yeah, there, so I. And I drove my major.
Yeah.
Yeah, once she gives me the.
And.
Sure.
Third.
A good time.
Yes, and now whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, there's the same author,
Sure.
And I'm not an admin anymore.
but his book, their book is more later.
Oh.
Made myself
Yes, that's why. A little bit. Okay. Seem like it's hard.
No,
Okay.
but it's.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Let me get-
You wanna use more minutes? Some people still play, so.
Pretty much.
Oh, okay. Okay, I was just curious if anything where.
Followed several people got out of it.
Yeah, the book is set up.
Yeah.
Suspect.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Well, there's been some, like, there. But I do not. It's terrible. I'm so like blind to what is happening. Well, you're just pretty good. I don't think it was. I knocked out so like, take it out.
I don't.
I ignore the news, but 4 years ago, was Germany,
Unless you can get it, you can't.
the only.
I don't think you can, you can't.
The American.
They
Forces
get it.
Network, which
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I just have.
Five major
I took
news,
courses from. my CT.
like one after another, and so unless you
Yeah.
put it on, they didn't see it, so I was just
Yeah,
like.
you can get it.
Blissfully oblivious. That's how I wasn't too late, so.
Okay, that's all I
And
can.
my doctor actually,
I mean, no, you're looking at it wrong. Drive down the street like that.
Maybe like 3-5 minutes. I know if some folks are still playing. Then we'll maybe move on to.
And a lot of work for that show.
and not to like 1 or 2 o'clock.
We need another, is there room or do we need another power strip?
Yeah, I mean, I can.
Here.
Anyway, I think I'm looking like for me over.
Yeah.
The purple one.
So like, I'm plugged in, but I don't think anything's actually happening, so I'm confused. I don't
Must be my charge, so.
Cause I turned that in.
Yeah.
Oh, it was off.
It was off.
Oh,
Actually, it was on.
oh, it was off. It must have got.
It was, it just because my charge.
Okay, maybe it turned itself off when too many were.
Okay.
Stop it.
For 5 hours.
Yeah, we get it other day.
We're at 26.
I've had this.
Oh, and I've been stupid.
Yeah, off to July.
Oh, really?
I'm getting sad.
I know, I just go around. And then it's driving around, so let's get it.
Well, I think there's-
Oh, okay, no. Yeah.
If I really want to put an instrument in there, I just want to create like a rhythm line, a rhythm example.
You know, it's.
You know, is there a way to do that, or do I have to give it like a snare?
Is there like clap or claves, I think,
Clave piano.
That.
and there maybe a clap?
That'll work.
Yeah.
Clave will work.
Or cat meows.
Was the question for me?
I almost bring. I didn't.
We were talking about if you just want to do a simple rhythm example, what instrument, and we were talking like claves would be something easy to write.
And clap.
Hand
Yes.
clap.
Yeah. Perfect.
There was
Definitely.
a suggestion from the room to use the cat meows.
Well, these are very popular among students in class. We initially launched this one as a prank for April Fools a couple of years ago.
I did that on
Teachers
Fun Friday,
told
though,
us
when we're
that
counting.
students loved it, so we kept it.
You kept it.
When we do like Fun Friday, if we're doing a counting example, Fun Friday, I'm like, okay, instead of say the words, we're going to meow. Or count with your Count Dracula voice, or. That's fun. Oh, they love it. Okay, violin is done. See us.
No. I did. I watched some students. But I can do this. I watch it.
Yeah, I was just gonna tell her that they don't have any Canvas courses currently. Because they're all archived. And I don't know if they start a sandbox with them, with my file share.
I already checked
Yours
it.
didn't do it. Hey, no, I mean,
I had to go into one of my archives.
oh, okay. When you go through the next part, I don't know where to look on this camera. Am I looking at you? When we go through the next part on Canvas, none of our teachers have a Canvas course currently because they've archived our courses from last school year. And the new courses don't show up yet. And so just know as they're working through, they can't see it. They can go into an archived class and see it if they want.
Okay.
Just
Yeah, I
careful.
can show the Canvas integration. I also pulled up a few assignments that I can walk through for ideas, or would we rather do Canvas?
I've already integrated flat into all of their courses. So that part they won't need to do. But I think knowing how to put an assignment in and that kind of thing would be helpful. But the
Okay.
integration part should already be done for them.
Okay.
I was able to do it like on the global level, so I just added it to all courses throughout the district.
So the only thing you need to know about with Canvas is that you need to create the assignments already in your own Flat for Education account. So you need to
Right.
access Flat for Education separately, create the assignments, and then when you log in from Canvas, you can access the assignments. I will show you how to.
Perfect, yes,
But
that'd be great.
for now, it is not possible to create an assignment on the fly on Canvas.
Right,
But you
okay.
can access any assignment that's already in your library or that you've already created and shared with them. That's possible. But now it is not possible to create on the fly. So
Okay,
let me pull up my,
and I think we're ready to head into the next part, so whenever you're ready.
yeah. So wait, I need to stop sharing this screen and share another one. So 1 second, sorry. Sorry, I got lost. Share screen, Canvas, share. I think you see my screen.
Yep,
Now I am on Canvas. So from what you just mentioned, you all already have Canvas on your sorry, I'm tired. You already have Flat for Education on your Canvas account, so I don't need to show you how to integrate and add the shared secret, that key. That should already be done.
yes, correct. Yep,
So if not, I can go back into that, but creating assignments with Canvas. So you need to open a class where you've already synchronized Flat for Education. So I think this one has it already. And so when you create a new assignment, you go to the external tool section. So here you would type Flat for Education, and this first this comes up, and there it opens this picker, which is quite ugly at the moment, but we're reworking it. So it opens this picker, and you have the 3 different sections like my assignments, shared assignments, and the Flat for Education assignments. So here, if you open any of the folders, I can take this assignment, find the missing note, you select it, click on select again, and it automatically added the specific assignment here. And then you just need to save it, save and publish. So basically, that's, let me see if it works with my demo account. And then if you load the assignment, it opens a new window with the assignment that you just linked. So here you have this find the missing note assignment, and it links to Flat for Education directly. So then from there you can preview it, edit, open the score on a separate tab, and so on. So really the only thing you have to think about, like the 2 only things you have to think about is 1, that you need to create your assignments before. So you cannot directly do it from this very ugly picker that we have at the moment. And you have to every time type Flat for Education, open this this window and then go ahead and select the assignment you're interested in. Then you can also customize the assignment based on, you know, what Canvas is offering. So you can allow different attempts and assign it to everyone or assign it to specific people, put due dates and so on. All these features are also features you can do directly from the resource library when you assign to classes. But since Canvas is a one-way system, you need to pull the work to Canvas, and you cannot assign it from Flat for Education directly to Canvas. It's a limitation at the moment we're trying to fix. It's not on us, it's on us and Canvas. It's just how the two tools are built. For example, Google Classroom is the opposite. You know, you just do everything from Google Classroom. Here, it's a bit of a half-half situation. But this is how it would work.
Just to clarify, Noemi, so when you are assigning an assignment, just like you just did, you should put the due dates, available dates in Canvas, not in the assignment in Flat. Is that right?
Yes. Yes, because here, if you are directly, technically, if I just open Flat for Education, if I'm in the resource library and I want to assign this one to my Canvas class, if you do it that way, which one was it? It was this one. It would technically show here that you can put a publication date, due date, and everything. But if you publish it that way, it will not show into Canvas.
Got it, okay.
It's so it has to be done from the Canvas side, and when you do the new assignment here, you can add more details. The instructions that you have in Canvas will show, in Flat for Education will show, but if you want to add more details or link some specific things that your students are used to with the Canvas environment, you do it directly here. And then you add the due dates and assignment availabilities directly from Canvas. Yeah. So we are working on this ugly picker. So hopefully by next back to school, we'll have something a bit nicer that doesn't push you away. But yeah, it's as easy as this, if I may say. I know it's not the most intuitive way, but yeah, you just have to click on this external tool and find Flat for Education. Yeah, that's it for Canvas, since I don't have to show you how to integrate the tool into the different courses. It's quite a quick showcase.
Yeah, can I just pause to say something to the group? So when you load your courses in the fall, your Flat should already show up on the left-hand side in your navigation of your course. Should already be there as well, so it'll be easy for you. And the only people who have to create these assignments are the middle school local people. Because it's part of their specific pacing guide and curriculum. You can do this if you want to do worksheets or whatever, but just know that it's required for them, but not for all of you, so. Keep that in mind.
So where's that gonna show up, Mike, like under the account dashboard courses?
So just like in her, so in her course, it'll show up on the left where it says, you know, quizzes, rubrics.
Oh, okay,
Yep,
in the
Yep,
next one.
it'll
over
show
under the
flat,
courses.
yep, just like she has it there.
Okay.
It should already show up in your courses.
Okay. Perfect.
And if you click on it, it opens the Flat for Education tool. One thing that's useful to know is that students can have access to Flat for Education even if you do not assign work to them. So once they've been added to the account, they will receive an invite, and once they accept it, they can access Flat for Education at any time. So usually it starts with they have an assignment, they need to complete it, but for those few students who like composing and get the hang of it, they can still create their own scores without it being attached to an assignment, because once they've created their account, they have access to Flat for Education. And it happens a lot that students just get started and create their own scores and practice music on their own like this. So just a small side note, students can still compose even if you don't force them to.
And to create their own account, they just need to click on that Flat for Education button in their Canvas course. Correct?
Yeah, they would do that. It would automatically create. And if your district allows them to receive emails, I don't know if it does, but they would receive an email from Canvas saying you've been added to the Flat for Education course, click to accept, and they can accept directly from the email. But I'm not sure if they receive emails. But if they do get those from Canvas, they will also get an email invite once they've been added to the course.
So if you assign an assignment in Canvas, but the assignment is connected to an assignment in Flat, where do you see the results of the assignment? In Canvas or in Flat?
Both. But, technically, you would only look into Canvas. So the idea is that Flat integrates with any LMS that you link it to. And if all your rostering and grading is done in Canvas, notes are automatically sent back to Canvas. So once the assignment is completed and graded, you can have access to the notes in both. But I believe most teachers would rely on the grades in Canvas, since it's where then it's also sent back to the other teachers, parents, download it, or I don't know what you do with the grades, but it's available in Canvas.
Yeah, it's similar to other external tools, like you can use the speed grader and you can make comments and all that stuff right in. You'll just see the assignment, you can see the different students, and you can click into each one and see it just like that.
Yeah, so any feature you used to in using Canvas, like the student preview, the reset the assignments, the grades, all of that, the speed grader, all of that can be used just like you're used to with other tools.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, so you can reset submissions, and that's done by opening the speed grader and then click on reset assignment. That's also something you can do in Flat for Education, but when using Canvas, we suggest doing all of these actions directly in Canvas, like resetting or grading and so on, just so there's no discrepancy and everything is reported properly into your gradebook and an LMS system. That's basically it that I have for Canvas. I'm not the biggest Canvas expert. I would lie if I told you it, I knew it by heart. But is there anything else that I should be mentioning about Canvas? I'm not sure.
I don't think so. I think
Yeah,
that once
me
they try it once, they'll see how it all kind of works.
Yeah. So in the meantime, can you still see my screen, or did it change
Yep.
to?
Yep, you can see it.
Is it find the missing note?
Yep.
Okay. No, sometimes it's yeah, I share specific tabs and I forgot what I shared. So before that, you were playing with the assignments. So I heard there were some questions about the worksheets and the displayed answers. I don't know your name, but it's the lady in blue that I can see right in front of
Yeah,
me.
it's me, I'm Abby.
Hi. So I could hear a question. I'm not sure if I understood it properly, but of the displayed answers being too many type of displayed answers based compared to the options you set for the worksheets. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
so, yes, so, on the one that I was working on, it just happens to have notes that are both natural and sharp in them, and so when it has the key signature that's not C major, then in addition to C, D, E, F, G, A, then it's got all the associated sharps and flats as well. Is there a possibility of, choosing, we want to show letter names, but only show these certain ones, because for students who are just learning, 4 or 5 notes to start, and now there's 21 options, that's a little bit overwhelming for them, I think.
That's 100% overwhelming, and it's not possible at the moment.
Okay.
But it would help me a lot if you could send me a screenshot of this question, because I'm building a case. So the logic behind it is that it is not possible because there would be too many edge cases where if you input only 2 different possibilities, then if we block everything, this answer will be too easy. It would be only
Yeah.
so we do not have it because at one point we had it, but teachers were complaining it was too easy. Then we removed it, and now it's too much information. So I'm building a case for developers who, in which cases we could remove it and we could have it. So having this specific example would be very helpful to prove, to have another edge case of like, okay, we should allow it or have a specific option to remove that. But yeah, no, short answer, it is not yet possible.
Okay.
But we're trying to figure out a way where we can display enough potential answers where it still is a bit tricky, but not too many where it becomes overwhelming. So for now, it's yeah, it's not ideal.
Okay, thank you.
I had the same question because it pretty much needs to be like a no filter, right?
Yeah.
Like what we want. Yeah,
Well,
I did the same thing, like, you get like a couple notes, like add a C and an F natural, but they have to pick D or a chart. I was thinking the same thing, like, whoa, like they're gonna cry, they're about to cry.
Well,
So
and
I'm glad you asked.
there's so many kids for whom, they see 21 choices and they're just like,
Whoa,
click, random.
yeah.
And then this tool, which could be really, really helpful to us, suddenly for those kids doesn't become as helpful.
Yeah, so I think just like a note filter, you could pick, eight notes that, well, when the answers are really only 1 of 5 notes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think in the same thing. I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of too much information. Yeah. Note
I
filter.
put the email into the chat, edu@flat.io. I don't know if you can see the chat here. But if you can send me a screenshot of this case, it would help me to show it to our developers.
Okay.
But
Just send it to me and I'll.
Okay.
or send it to him and he'll send it to me. And it's but yeah, when you input the settings of these different assignment types, you input the settings of the questions being asked, not the answers being displayed as a potential.
Okay.
So that's just keep that in mind when you create it. If you ask only sharps, the questions will be only sharps, but in the potential answer, you might have something that's flat just because to try to trick the student. But I'm making something up right now.
Yeah.
But
I understand.
that is the logic behind it. Not always very logical, but it's the logic behind it. So I pulled up a few assignments that I had created for some other demos. just to show you some things that have been done. All of these were taken from teachers who use Flat for Education. So I didn't make anything up, but it was just to showcase a few potential ways you could use different assignment types. So for example, this composition assignment called Find the Missing Note, I believe it's in one of the sample assignments. And here it is, you know, very basic assignment where when you play it, it's Ode to Joy. And the students are required to write the note here. So it's already written that they need to input a D, but the goal of the assignment is to have them, you know, navigate Flat for Education. And if they don't know how to use it, it's a very easy way to get familiar to the notation editor. Of course, you can make it more complicated and remove all of these text fields. So they just have to listen to the song and write the correct note name note here. And the same logic can be applied, but backwards. You display the notes and you ask students to use the text field to write the correct note. So kind of more of a note identification, like what is the note written here? Just write it with the text field so you know they know how to read notes. So that's a very basic assignment that can be done, especially with younger students or beginners in terms of using the notation editor. That was, I didn't want to open this one. This performance assignment that I opened, the warm-up tones and melodies, it's just a very, again, simple example of how a performance assignment can be used. So here you would have, so you have your different instruments and you would assign, you know, each student uses their instrument and they perform reading the notes. So it is a very basic note reading assignment where you can assign each student their own instrument. It could also be done in a different way. Instead of playing it, they read the notes out loud and have to do a note identification that way. So that is used with, you know, band, choir, orchestra, depending on the instruments in there, but it's one of the examples of an easy warm-up and performance assignment. The next one I pulled up was an assignment where you're asking students to write Dorian scales. And the idea was that this teacher created it with different instruments attached to this one composition assignment, different scores attached. So one score for each instrument. So if I pull up two different ones, so the student would pick the score they want to work on based on the instrument they're familiar with, and they then complete these scales. So that's really to showcase the fact that you can assign multiple scores into one single assignment, and students can work on all of them, some of them, or none of them if they don't want to. But yeah, you can do that as well. This leitmotif assignment was more of a composition assignment where you're asking students to compose this melody. You have like the very detailed instructions on how long it should be, here it's more of an open composition, so free rhythm, free notes in terms of duration, but it is kind of this more creative assignment where you're guiding the students a bit less, but they're asked to compose this melody. So it's just to showcase that you can really ask anything you want and create scores with templates that have many instructions on them, or on the contrary, remain quite broad depending on their level, age range, and have them work on it more independently. The songwriting assignment, I found it quite funny because it's asking students to compose using their names. So there's this website where you can you put your name and it deciphers your name into notes. So some of them are quite obvious, like ABC, but other letters are a bit less obvious, and you have to then the student has to use the letters of their name to compose a melody. So it can be a fun assignment. Some other elementary teachers use it, with very simple words like B, like BEE, and I don't know, I'm lacking inspiration. Cab, some very short words with the musical alphabet, and students have to compose using these specific notes. And this is chromatic and diatonic semitones, so it's just to showcase that you can have different levels of instructions on a score, and have really guide your students into what you want them to complete and how you want them to work.
Sorry. Before you Xed out of that one, there were some notes in that template that I was curious, how did you create them?
How do I
So
create?
like underneath your title, you have directions. How did you add those directions to that? Like where it says write the required semitones?
Yeah. So
How did you add that in there?
if you click on the title,
Yep.
it opens the credits section. And
Okay.
so here typically it's the name of the score, and you have a little subtitle, and you can also add text on the sides here and here and here. And so it adds different levels of text. So it's technically not meant to be for instructions, but we use it for instructions at the moment because it can add different levels. And this one here was added using this annotation tool. So the annotation tool here in the text field annotation, you could also technically use the lyrics, and the lyrics writes below the staff, and the annotation writes on top of it. But yeah, here it's really using these credits until we're planning on adding as well more text fields on the score to allow for more instructions. But for now, that's a good way to use the maximum text available on the score to add the instructions.
Thank you. That answered my question.
If they have an assignment open, the directions you put in will show up kind of on the right column, though. Is that correct? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. If I open the student preview, assignments directions always show on the side, but it is sometimes useful to have more things on the score depending on what you're asking. So for this specific assignment here, you have the side with the assignments, the student can make it larger. If you link a file or a YouTube video or anything else, it will be here. So students can have access to the file or the video directly into the instructions if you've linked it. And if they want more space, they can collapse the instructions and it increases the size of the score they're working on. Yeah. So do you have any questions on the different assignment types? So you've had a little bit of time to play around with the different assignment types. It's probably not enough to have questions, or maybe it is. But do you have anything I can help you with for the
Is
assignment
there a
creations?
way to print out the student's final answer, like final product? So that they can have a copy of it to take home and show their grown-ups? Is there a way to print that out for them? Or is it all on?
Is it the scores you want to print?
Yeah, like after they have done it. Like they finished their product and they submitted it to me. Can I print out their score?
Yes, let me try to open one. So here it's turned in and you can print it. So you have the same menu, you have exactly the same menu when you work, let me open this, when you have your own score here. And when you look into a student's submission, you have exactly the same menu. So you can, from there, also click on the, history. You can restore versions, you can print it, and so on. You can really have exactly the same fields as you have on your own library. And something that doesn't exist yet, but we want to add quite soon, is a way to print out the worksheets. So some schools have pen and paper tests, and for now, printing a worksheet is a bit annoying because it doesn't really exist, and you can print the page, and there is this workaround, but it's quite ugly. So we're gonna implement that soon, but it is something we're working on. So you could technically just print out the worksheet and give it to your students on paper as well. Does your school use Google Docs or Microsoft Teams or Google Docs?
Yeah, Google Docs, yep.
Okay, so I can show you our last feature. So we have a Google add-on. Let me open this up. So we have a Google add-on. It works on Google Docs and Google Slides. And what it does is that you can have very easily create some little music, what we call music snippets, and directly import it into your Google Docs and Slides. So how it would work is you click on extensions, music snippets, and open. If you're, I think I am logged in. Yeah, so if you're not logged in, you would have a prompt here saying login, but I'm logged in. And when you're logged into your music snippet account, you have access to everything you have on your Flat for Education account. So from there, you can create a new score directly from Google Docs. So if you click on one of the examples, it directly opens a music score. You can add notes, you can add different measures, you can really have access to all the different layout and styles. You can also have the colored notes. It will not really be interesting here, but it's just to show you that you have really access to everything that you have on the notation editor. And once you're done, you click on Add to Document. You can choose the different layouts. You can choose if you want to import the entire score or just some pieces, and click on Insert. And then it automatically adds, what did it add it to? Adds it to your document. Then if you double click on it, you can edit the piece, it reopens it, and then you can make modifications. So the great thing about music snippets is that you can have access to your entire library. So for example, if I go back to my score library, it's not the same account, this one and the music snippet one, so don't be surprised if you don't see the same scores. But the idea is that here in your score library, you have a music snippet folder once you start using music snippets. And everything that you create on music snippet is stored here. And other way around, you can from here, from your Flat for Education account, you can take any score from your score library, move it to the music snippet folder, and then once you're in music snippet, you can access it and open it from here directly. So it will not work here because it's not the same account, but it's just to show you that you can add pieces of scores, big or small. You can really even add an entire score into a Google Doc, and you can personalize it as you want and add it to your document. So let me do a page layout just so you can see how it would look like. You can have the entire score. Not the best example, but you can have the entire score added directly into a layout. So this is available on Google Docs and Slides. And we recently also made it available on PowerPoint and Word. No, yes, I'm blanking. And so, yeah, you can use it, and your students also have access to it. So if you cannot find the extension, you would just click on extension, add-on, get add-on. And from here, you click on music snippet and install it. I'm not sure if your district has allowed it already or if it's available to anyone. I think so, because I think we've talked about it in the past. If it's not there, let me know and I see what can be done. But since you have a district-wide license, music snippet is free to use for any of you if you log in with your account that's associated with Flat for Education, and your students also have access to it. So a lot of teachers have used these music snippets to create some printable formats, you know, of note identification and colored notes, and students have also used it for presentations and some workshops and things like that. So it's a fun tool if you need to add some small music sections into your lesson plans or something you want to print out. Yeah, just wanted to let you know that you have it available to you.
Probably the easiest way to add that add-on is to go to integrations. On the in flat on the left-hand column integrations, you'll see there's all kinds of them. So you'll see Google Docs, slides, you'll see the Word and the PowerPoint. So those, if you click link, if you click the plus link button, that'll take you to that page, right to the exact one. So you don't have to even search for it in the add-ons. You can just click it, it'll take you to the right one. You may have to log into your Google account again, if it's logged out. Or if you're not, you have to be in Chrome.
Yeah, so you can directly click on the link here, a link for Google Slides as well, and it will directly get it for you to be installed. Yeah, thanks. I didn't think about this path to link it. But yeah, it is a very easy way. So do you have any questions I can help you with? So I talked about everything I wanted to talk about. So now it's more about how I can help you get some scores or assignments set up, or do you want a break, or do you want to me to send you some additional resources on other topics? So just let me know how I can help you best.
I will say, for those of you who are working, the help section that Vlad has, I think is very well done and very comprehensive. I've used it many times. You know, as I'm looking for, can't find a tool, or I try to figure something out. It's very helpful. There's videos as well. So if you're really stuck on something, that's a good option to go to. Just wanted to mention
And
that.
if you're really stuck on something, you email me. It is the maybe not the fast, it is one of the fastest way to get your answers. So you can always, I'd rather you email me 10 times in a working session because there's something that you cannot figure out, than abandon flat education and not try again. Of course, if you cannot find your answer on the help page, it means that we didn't do a good job, so we need to change it and adapt it. So we can only know it if you tell us. So don't be shy telling us what needs to be improved and what you can and cannot find, because it's always very helpful. But yeah, if you email me at the support email, which is edu@flat.io, I can help you put together a specific score or an assignment or anything you need for your classes. So please don't be shy. There is no cost involved in emailing me. I'm here for that. It's my job, and I'd be very happy to help if needed, when needed, as many times as needed. Just putting it out there.
No, I mean, this isn't probably for the full group, but for the middle school vocal teachers who are using Soundtrap, so maybe when, if everyone else would be free to go, then maybe we just quickly just touch on the integration between Soundtrap and Flat and what it can do, and I know that's a new thing that we haven't talked about with anyone yet, but that might be something, if you have a moment, we just touch base with those handful of teachers that are here that applies to.
Yeah. I need a Soundtrap account to show that, which I do not have at the moment. But if I just, yeah, there is a very easy Soundtrap integration that where you can, when you're working on a score, this one is not the best example, but when you're working on a score and with the export button, if you click on this export to Soundtrap, you can directly connect to your Soundtrap account. And then the score is directly imported to that tool, exported. And the other way works as well. When you work with Soundtrap, you have an export to flat button and you can directly export it to our platform. But I will make sure to get our credentials for next time so we can walk through it a bit better because I do not have access to Soundtrap. But yes, this integration does exist and it's very useful for teachers who have both tools. So you use Soundtrap in your district, I assume.
In the middle school specifically, yes.
Okay.
And we did try it. One of it, I tried it, I don't know if they tried it, but it works pretty slick. It just pulls the score in and shows an audio file. It's kind of nice.
Yeah, it's quite straightforward. No, I don't have a good credential, so I cannot really help more right now on the Soundtrap topic, but yeah, thanks for pointing it out. I should have credentials ready to use for demos like this. What other music tools do you use in your district? Teachers that are here in this classroom?
Really, that's kind of it. I think that would. That's really it between those two that this group would use.
I'm glad we're one of them.
Any other questions we have?
I will follow up, later today or tomorrow with, I'll send it to Shane and Mike and they can send it along to all of you. And also those who didn't join, but I'll send you a little, document with some useful links and useful information that you can use as a quick, guide to use Flat for Education, getting started. Some tips on Canvas and all of that. I will make sure to add Soundtrap for those that might be interested. But yeah, I will follow up with these specific documents. And you will also have a guide to music snippet in there, so you can have some best practices on how to use it. But most of the time questions start coming up when you start using the tool more and more. So don't hesitate, as I mentioned, to let me know where I can help you and how we can improve.
All right, thank you. I will, Noemi, I'll let you go and I'll just have a couple directions for our group here at the end.